Nobody knew why Adaeze, the same girl who had once topped every examination she had ever sat, was now failing class after class. Nobody knew what she carried to campus every morning beneath that tired face and those quiet eyes. Nobody knew. Not yet, but by the time this story ends, you will understand everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon when it happened. The lecturer had just finished returning the midterm scripts. One by one, names were called and papers handed back. When he reached Adeze's name, he paused. Just a breath, but in a silent lecture hall, a pause like that is enough. Adeze Nwosu, 31 out of 100. The room did not laugh. It was worse than that. It whispered. Adeze took her paper without a word and sat down. She pressed it face down against her thigh so no one could see the number. She had hoped, foolishly, she now realized, that she might have done better this time. Behind her, she did not need to turn to know that Chidima was already reaching for her phone. By the time lectures ended that afternoon, the video was already circling the department WhatsApp group. It was only a few seconds, the back of Adeze's head, her hand collecting that paper, the lecturer's paws hanging in the air like a verdict. Chidima had captioned it simply, "Our so-called genius." The comment came quickly. What happened to her? She probably can't cope. I heard she's been submitting other people's work. She was never as brilliant as everyone said. Adeze saw none of the messages that evening. She was already on a bus heading to her night shift. To understand Adeze, you have to go back. She grew up in Enugu, the eldest child of a civil servant and a seamstress. From the time she could hold a pencil, she was different. Teachers remembered her name without being reminded. Neighbors called her Ada Ocha, the bright one. Her father used to say, with the kind of pride that fills a man's chest, that she would be the first in their family to finish university with honors. That was before everything changed. Her father's family had never fully accepted her mother. Ifeoma was a kind woman, a gentle woman, but she was not from money. And in certain families, that is a wound that never fully heals. For years, the relatives whispered. They found a woman from a better connected household. They made the introduction quietly, the way these things are always done quietly. At first, Adeze's father resisted, and then, slowly, he did not. One afternoon, Adeze came home from school to find her mother sitting at the kitchen table, a single folded letter in front of her. She was not crying. She was very still, the stillness of a woman absorbing something too large for tears. Her father had packed and left while they were out. The letter said only this: "I am starting a new life. I will send money when I can." He never did. Ifeoma stood up from that table, put the letter away, and made a decision. She took on more sewing work, she sold fabric at the market on weekends, and when Adeze won a merit scholarship to a federal university, Ifeoma stood at the gate and watched her daughter board a bus with one suitcase, and she smiled the way only a mother who has chosen her child over her own collapse can smile. "Make us proud, Ne," she said. Adeze pressed her forehead to her mother's and whispered, "I will, Mama, I promise." First year was everything Adeze had hoped for. She topped her department in the first semester, professors called on her before she raised her hand, and Chidima, who had also entered on scholarship and was sharp in her own right, became the two names everyone expected to hear at the end of every examination cycle. Chidima saw Adeze's face and said the right things, but Adeze was always just ahead, and some people are not built to walk behind. Then, in the second semester of their second year, Adeze's phone rang at midnight. Her mother had collapsed at her sewing machine. The doctor at the general hospital used words like cardiac fatigue and chronic stress and ongoing monitoring. What it meant, in plain terms, was that her mother needed medication every month and rest and checkups that cost money Ifeoma did not have. Adeze looked at the hospital invoice for a long time. The scholarship covered her fees, it did not cover this. She found a night cleaning job at the same hospital, wards, corridors, supply rooms, from 10 in the evening until 4 in the morning. She would take the early bus back to campus, sleep for 2 hours on a good night, and attend lectures. She told no one, not her roommate, not even her friends, not even the one lecturer who had always been kind to her. One evening before her shift, she stopped at her mother's ward. Ifeoma was sitting up in bed, looking smaller than she remembered. "You look tired," her mother said quietly. "I'm fine, Mama." "Ifeoma," she took her hand. "Don't let me become a reason you lose what you came for. Promise me that." Adaeze looked at her mother's hands, rough from years of the sewing machine, soft at the fingertips from all the fabric she had touched. She thought of the gate at home and the bus and the smile. "I promise you, Mama," she said, "I will graduate, and when I do, it will be because of you." The exhaustion was invisible at first. Then it became impossible to hide. Adaeze started arriving late to morning lectures. She missed the coursework deadline for the first time in her academic life. In one examination, she fell asleep at her desk for nearly 20 minutes and woke to find half the time gone and students watching her with a mixture of pity and fascination. Her grades dropped, then they dropped again. Chidinma watched carefully. She had been waiting, even if she never said it aloud, for the ground to shift. She began to speak to other students in a measured way, the way someone wants words to travel without fingerprints. She was never really as good as people thought. I wonder where she gets her assignments from. And finally, the one that did the most damage, she filed an informal complaint with the department, suggesting that Adaeze's sudden decline was suspicious, that perhaps her earlier performances had not fully been her own. What Chidinma did not do, even though one night, returning from a late outing with friends, had passed through the hospital's east corridor and seen, unmistakably, a figure in a cleaner's uniform guiding a mop across a polished floor, was say a single word in Adaeze's defense. She had seen her, in that uniform, at that hour, with that particular tiredness in how she moved, and Chidinma had looked away and kept walking. The letter from the department came on a Thursday. Adaeze was summoned to a formal review meeting. Her scholarship was under assessment. Her grades had fallen below the required threshold. There had been concerns raised about her academic integrity. She was to attend on Friday morning and bring any documentation she deemed relevant. She read the letter 3 times. She did not bring documentation. There was none that would explain what needed to be explained. On Friday morning, she walked into the office to find 3 faculty and the scholarship committee representatives seated across a long table. She took the chair she was gestured toward and folded her hands in her lap. She did not notice at first the man sitting slightly apart from the panel, older in a quiet suit with the unhurried manner of someone who has stopped needing to prove anything. He had come for a facility tour. His name was Mr. Obiara. He had paid for the wing of the building they were sitting in. He meant to have left 20 minutes ago. Something had kept him. The committee chair spoke. The grades, the complaints, the threshold, the review process. If Adaeze had nothing to offer in her defense, the scholarship board would be forced to reconsider her continued funding. Adaeze sat with it for a moment. She had rehearsed a short answer, something dignified, something that would not expose too much, but sitting there with everything at stake, every rehearsed sentence felt like a betrayal of the actual truth. And the actual truth is the only thing she had left. So she told it. She told them about her father's letter and the kitchen table and her mother's stillness. She told them about the scholarship that covered fees but not hospital bills. She told them about the cleaning job, the hours, the early bus in 4 in the morning, the 2 hours of sleep on a good night and none on a bad. She told them about the examination she had fallen asleep in and how she had sat in the bathroom afterwards and pressed her hands against the cold tile wall and told herself to hold on. Her voice did not break. She did not perform sorrow. She simply told the truth, plainly the way her mother had always told her to speak. When she finished, the room held its breath. Mr. Obiara leaned forward. What would you do with your education if you did not have to worry about money? The question caught Adaeze off guard. No one had ever asked her that. She answered without preparing. She talked about the communities she had grown up watching go without. She talked about what access to proper technology education could do for children in places like Enugu. She talked about the woman who ran a small shop near her secondary school, who once told her that no one had ever taught her to read properly and how that had stayed with her. She talked for about 3 minutes. When she stopped, Mr. Obiara looked at the committee. This institution should be fighting to keep this student, not reviewing her exit. He turned to Adaeze. I would like to cover the remainder of your degree, full fees, accommodation, books, and a monthly stipend so that you do not need a second job. And I would also like to arrange for your mother's ongoing medical care through a foundation I support. The scholarship representative began to speak. Mr. Obiara raised one hand. Gently, consider it already done. The news spread through the department the way
news always spreads, in pieces, misquoted, exaggerated, but directionally true. By evening, the class WhatsApp group was full of it. A donor had stepped in for Adaeze. She was staying. She was going to be fine. Chidima read every message. She put her phone face down on her desk. She did not reply to any of them. She sat with what she had filed and what she had seen at the hospital and what she had chosen to do with it. There was no reply to send that would have been honest. Adaeze called her mother that evening. Ifeoma listened without speaking for a long time. Then she made a sound that was not quite crying, more the sound of someone setting down a weight they had carried so long they had forgotten it was there. God did not forget us, she said finally. He never did, Mama, Adaeze said. In the days that followed, Chidima approached Adaeze with a careful smile and words that circled apology without landing on it. Adaeze heard her out. Then she said, I forgive you, but I want you to understand something. You passed me in that corridor. You saw me in that uniform at that hour, and you recognized me. And instead of saying a single word to anyone that might have helped, you filed a complaint against me. She paused. I don't say this to punish you. I say it because I think you need to hear it clearly from me. She looked at her evenly. That is something you will have to carry. I won't be carrying it with you. She turned and walked away and did not look back. Months later, word came through a relative that Adaeze's father had heard about what happened and wanted to reach out. He sent a short message. I heard. I am proud of you. Adaeze read it twice. She thought of the letter on the kitchen table. She thought of the gate and the boss and her mother's hands. She thought of every 4 o'clock morning and every corridor that smelled of antiseptic and floor wax. She typed 3 words and sent them. Thank you. Goodbye. On the day Adaeze graduated, with distinction, her final year results having erased every stumble of the years before, Ifeoma sat in the front row in a dress her daughter had bought for the occasion. She watched Adaeze cross the stage and receive the diploma, and she clapped until her palms were warm. After the ceremony, someone asked Adaeze what had kept her going through the hardest season. She thought about it for a moment. She said, there is a kind of strength that you don't know you have until the only option is to use it. I didn't survive that time because I was strong. I survived it because I made a promise to someone who needed me to keep it. She looked over at her mother, who was talking to another parent and laughing with her whole face the way she used to before the letter, before the kitchen table, before all of it. And I kept it, she said. What you intend for someone's shame can become the door to their destiny. And the load that breaks other people, sometimes, is the very thing that builds you.